Garcia, originally from San Diego, lives in Las Vegas with her family. She loves farmers markets, thrifting, and escaping to explore with her family in their travel trailer. She's a mompreneur who is all about simplicity, and she designed the Momper Romper as a simpler and more comfortable choice for maternity clothing. And today, she's going to share her story and journey with us. So welcome, Kelly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad we have this chance. I have to ask you because our family's dream was to full-time in an RV, and we've had quite a few detours. We haven't done it yet, but how
Yeah.
long have you had your travel trailer, and where are some of your favorite places to go?
Oh gosh, so we've had it now a little over 2 years. We've taken it up to Colorado,
Mm.
Utah, California, Arizona. But most recently, we took it all the way across the country to Florida.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, it was a crazy 5-day trip with 2 kids in the back. And it was a very, very long trip, but we made it. And yeah, it's always been a dream of mine to have a travel trailer. And then
Mhm.
we did it, and it worked so well for the business also for
Yes.
we travel to artisan markets. And so, yeah, it's
Oh,
been great. It's been so fun.
that's fabulous, and it gives you that continuity and consistency inside the travel trailer. You still have home for your
Yeah.
family, even though your front door changes, your view of your
Yes.
yard.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the best part was we never have to worry really about where we're gonna stay,
yeah.
when we're traveling. We have everything we need in the back, and we
Mhm.
also are able to we have 2 little dogs, and we're able to bring them with us. We don't have to worry about, "Oh, does this hotel allow dogs?"
Right. Will
It's
the kids sleep?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been great. It was a great
Oh,
investment.
well, good, good.
Yeah.
Well, today we're gonna talk about something that you know, which is,
Mhm.
essentially simple wardrobes. So
Yeah.
would you share a bit about your journey from studying fashion design to starting a clothing business?
Sure. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, I've had a very long journey in the fashion industry to where I am today. After graduating FIDM, the Fashion Institute in Los Angeles, I worked in various positions in the industry. I owned my own boutique right out of college for a couple of years. It was a women's resale consignment boutique. So I had that for the first couple years. It was super successful. And then 2008 hit,
Mm.
and we had it couldn't make it through. That period. And so I did have to close up. And so I've always had a passion for recycling and reusing. And it, it's just now it's even more so with the company, do more with less,
Mhm.
is always the motto. So then after the boutique, I worked at several startup e-commerce companies as a buyer, as a copywriter, social media manager. You tend to wear several hats when you work for a startup.
Yes.
And so I had a lot of experience working for those companies. And then after some years, I worked for a couple well established shoe companies, which you may have heard of, Tom's
Mhm.
Shoes, and then Yellow Box footwear shoes. And so yeah, I had a great experience building the e-commerce platform for Yellow Box that had been around for several 20 years, but they just didn't have an e-commerce presence. So I built that out for them.
Mm.
And then right after Yellow Box, I was they actually moved me out here to Las Vegas. I currently still work for Zappos.com
Okay.
and as a senior site merchandiser for them. So yeah, a lot. A lot
Yes.
has happened through my journey.
But look at how all those different roles, like you mentioned all these little things that I'm like, look at that experience it gave you to
Yeah.
kind of pull it all together into your own.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I it just feel so blessed to have had all of those experiences, because now it's just, I took a little piece from every one of those
Yes.
and created Momper Romper.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Well, you looked for a solution and you didn't find one. And so, like so often happens, you created what you needed. So, how did you
Yeah.
discover that you weren't the only one and that other expecting mamas wanted and needed the Momper Romper too?
Yeah. So let me give you a little backstory.
Yeah.
Um, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I went out looking for maternity clothes for the second time because I had already had my son, 5 years
Okay.
previously, and I had already gotten rid of my maternity clothes from the. So I went out looking for maternity clothes again and found the same thing. They
Mm.
were overpriced.
Yep.
They were not my style at all. They were still super uncomfortable.
Yep.
And then I just hated the process of having to buy more and more pieces as you went up in size through the trimesters. And I just thought there's got to be something better. With that, do more with less in my mind, and, recycling clothing, and this whole idea of, I just want something to simplify
Mm.
this whole, it's really just such a short period, and so I thought there's got to be something better. And I started playing around with silhouettes and created the Momper Romper. I was very fortunate to have a friend that was actually working in product development. That's what I
Mhm.
graduated. I graduated FITM in product development, but had a friend that was actually working in it, and she found me a factory, and we sampled it. I said, "Can we just make, just like 300 pieces? Let's just try it, because I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I mean, I have this need, but I'm not sure if this is going to go anywhere." So I said, "Can we just make, 300 pieces? Let's try." And we did. And I took that step that's so challenging for most, is putting it out there and putting it in front of customers. And
Mhm.
I went to a local market here in Las Vegas, and we sold out.
Wow.
In the first weekend. We had a tent down in downtown Summerlin at a local market called Vintage Market Days, and I pretty much sold out.
That's
And
amazing.
I I said, "Gosh, I've got something." It wasn't just me, and it wasn't just moms that were, purchasing it. People love it just for the comfort, um, but those moms that were pregnant just completely understood. They got it as soon as they looked at it. They understood. Gosh, this is just genius. We hate
Yes.
wearing these uncomfortable clothes. And here's a one. So that's kind of the story, how it all
Yes.
started.
Well, and what you described is what maternity clothes were 23 years ago when I was expecting my first,
Yeah.
and at least I say at least, but at least in your part of the country,
Mhm.
it gets hot, but we have seasons. We're up here with snow. And so when you're pregnant over winter, not only is it the short period of time that you need these clothes, but now you need them for 3 or 4 seasons. And that just triples your.
Right, exactly. And that's what I love so much about my piece, is that um, it's so versatile. You can layer it. You can, and then in the summertime, you can wear it sleeveless still, and it
Yeah.
still works. And the fabric is so soft and lightweight. It's so easily either layerable, or
Yep.
just,
On
you
its
could wear
own.
it on its own with a cute. I always, recommend like a cute lace bralette in the summertime with some cute
Mhm.
sandals, and you're ready to go. It's just one piece. That's all you have to think about.
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
yeah,
That's
super easy.
fabulous. So
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
mentioned that this was with your second one that, you were looking so really
Yeah.
this is as old as your baby,
Yes.
5 years or so,
Yes.
right?
So it was created while I was still pregnant with her, and So my son was about 5 at the time,
Okay.
4 probably going on 5. So yeah, it was, challenging at times, because I've still got a
Yes.
little one that was, very much dependent on me. And then I had a newborn, still trying
Yeah.
to get this business, off and running. So, yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. So as a mompreneur with littles,
Yeah.
what was your biggest challenge when it came to kind of balancing home and business?
Gosh, it's always challenging. I
Yeah.
think it's just the schedule and
Yeah.
coordinating everything just to make sure that I'm balancing, that I'm making sure that I'm there as much as possible for the daily routine.
Mhm.
The school drop off, school pickup, homework, school performances, ballet. I want to be there for those things.
Yeah.
So I really make sure that I'm there. And then I do that because I know it means a lot to the kids. So I keep that as consistent as possible. And then when I'm traveling and out of town, we're blessed that my parents live nearby
Ah,
and
nice.
are retired and can help. That has been, such a blessing for us.
Yes.
And then, and if my husband's not traveling with me, then he'll take over also. Um, but for the most part, when school's not in session, the kids come with us,
That's
and
great.
they're part of running the booth and the artisan markets that we do, and so they get to experience, entrepreneurship firsthand, and
Yeah.
they've been doing that for years with us.
And
So
that's great because they're going to learn that it's a lifestyle, but you can still have boundaries. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be everything, but it can be the way to something and it's how you're traveling, right? Some of those things.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, they've had the joy of coming with us on many trips, and I
Yeah.
remind them often, you're so lucky, so
Yes.
many kids don't have this, opportunity, and the business has really opened that opportunity for them to travel.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
great.
it's been great.
So while Momper Romper, I'm always afraid I'm going to say it wrong. He is because
No
when I was a
worries. We've
kid,
heard everything. It's
Romper
okay.
Room was the kids show, and so that's what I keep thinking
Yeah.
of here. So, well, Momper Romper is a product. I
Mhm.
know that your heart is for that simplicity, especially through
Mhm.
minimalism when it comes
Yes.
to clothes in the family. So, let's talk a little bit more about that, starting with like why even bother? What's the benefit to paring down?
Yeah, well, I just feel like as our lives get busier and busier, you might find, or at least I find, that um, there's a real need or a want to simplify.
Yeah.
You just want things to get easier, and it also really allows my brain to focus on what's most important. So that whole idea of less is more,
Mhm.
if I can simplify this one area, then I have more time to spend on this other area.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought, gosh, that, this is it's so versatile, and it's so easy. So basically, yeah, it's just do less to do more, right?
Okay.
It's one
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a difference between scarcity and minimal. And I think sometimes we get afraid of scarcity and we don't understand that minimal is enough. Like there's an
Yes.
abundance still, you
Just
know?
what you need.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk practically. How do you do this? Like, let's
Mhm.
start with mom's wardrobe. I imagine that you're going to say that there's some key elements that every mom needs. So, like, what is it that you think should be in a wardrobe um, to make it, minimal and sufficient?
Yeah. So it's just really, ironic that, I would be focused so on, this minimalist wardrobe piece when one of those several jobs that that I had back in the day was working for a matchmaking company.
Mm.
And my job was to go into clients' wardrobes
Mhm.
and pare down and then create a list of essentials that they needed in their wardrobes. And you really need those essentials to then be able to create simple mix and match
Mhm.
outfits. Um, and so I always refer back to those. I always think
Mhm.
about, is it an essential? Whenever I'm
Mhm.
out shopping, I think, can I make 4 or 5 outfits out of this? I'm always thinking, does it pair with my, romper?
Mhm.
Does I always keep those in mind. So for me, essentials, are the basics. We need a good white t-shirt. We need a good, basic black t-shirt. We need those layering pieces like a cardigan, a jean jacket, maybe a military jacket. And that's where I really start is like, do I have those essentials that
Okay.
I can make several outfits with? I'm always thinking about those and always thinking about replacing those first before I do any kind of trend shopping, especially
Mhm.
because we very, very easy to get stuck. Um, those shopping habits of trends, because you
Yeah.
walk into, well, my home away from home Target,
Mhm.
and they put those trends right up front,
Front and center. Yep.
Yes, right up front. So I'm always, that's always the question that runs through my mind is first, wait, is this a trend or is it an essential?
Yeah.
Do I need to replace some essentials? It's always, before I make that trend purchase. So yeah, that's kind of
Okay.
where I start.
So
Yeah.
do you start with those as like more like basic black and basic white? Like are they more neutral pieces or do you
Neutral.
pull in okay.
Yes, neutral all the way. It's
Okay.
always black, white, gray, and you
Okay.
can always mix and match those.
Mhm.
And then another one I always used to recommend to my clients is if you're going to accessorize, make sure those accessories too are neutral. So
Okay.
that you can pair with more outfits. A great example was, any solid metal, so gold or silver or whatnot.
Mhm.
But also, I would always recommend like clear beads or clear acrylic
Mhm.
kind of jewelry because then you're not trying to match it with a certain color and it just
Right.
goes with everything. And so, yeah, just little things like that. I'm always thinking about how many different ways can I wear this?
Yeah. So do
Yeah.
you pull in color pattern anywhere or
I do once I have all the essentials.
okay.
And I really like to do that with my accessories.
Okay.
Um, so I like to add a scarf or add, maybe my handbag is a little brighter than my normal
Mm.
everyday bag.
Mhm.
My shoes can be different. I really like to do that to keep that closet real minimal, but those
Mhm.
accessories can add a little pop of color.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
That's helpful. So I am a follow a template kind of person. So like Garanimals were my best friend. So like
Yeah.
that's the challenge for me is knowing what to do so that you keep that creativity and variety even in that pared down sense,
Yeah, it adds a little excitement every once in a while. You could, grab a new scarf and it's not a huge investment, but then you've got something, a little exciting and bright to add.
yeah.
Um, but not a huge investment like, a wardrobe piece. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. When we thought we were gonna be RVing full time, we knew we had to pare down our clothes, and so my husband and I went to one dresser for the 2 of us, and let me tell you, there is nothing like that to
Oh,
help you both, purge because,
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
to limit our space, but even then, it still comes in, and, I noticed that when my kids were tiny, it felt like clothes multiplied like rabbits. All you had to do was say baby, and suddenly people are handing you
Yeah.
bags and bags of hand-me-downs, and it's
Oh, yeah.
overwhelming. So,
Oh,
how do you you have to factor for seasons in some places and
mhm,
growth,
mhm,
and so it makes sense with littles to
mhm.
keep a lot of clothes on hand because, child A might fit these shorts perfectly in the summer at the right time, and child B won't, even though they were both born in the same month.
Yeah.
And so, how do you approach the kids' clothes to keep it,
Oh gosh.
from being
Yeah.
overwhelming?
Yeah, it definitely, it can get crazy, and if anyone has the grandparents, like like I do, my parents love them, but my mom especially is a shopper and dropping off clothes all the time.
Mhm.
Went to Target, went to Costco, "Here you go. Oh, look at this cute outfit I just got for" it's just constant, constant. And, so I've had to have those difficult conversations with mom a few times that mom, they have so many clothes. Please don't get any more until, the holidays, or, I have to have those difficult conversations. But as far as the kids, we especially traveling in the RV, this past trip was really difficult because we start off in Nevada where it's cold, very cold,
Okay.
and then we get to Florida where
It's
it was in the 70s and it was beautiful, and we're going to be on the beach in swimsuits, and so it was very challenging. We took some heavy jackets to start, and then those heavy jackets ended up in a tote. By the end of the trip,
Mhm.
we kind of just packed them away. And I tend to do that, even with their wardrobes, in their closets.
Mm.
Their seasonal winter items go in the back when it's spring, summer, and that way it makes it easier for me when dressing them. So I always make sure I do that switch as soon as the weather changes.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's really just those difficult conversations of keeping it
Mhm.
minimal with the
Yeah.
relatives constantly gifting.
Do you have a rule of thumb? Do you have, say, we need four long pants and 10
Oh
shirts? I
yes,
mean, because they spill. So I think there's a
yes, definitely. There's
validity
less
in them
spilling for
having more.
me. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
less spilling for with my kids right now, just because they're a little older. Well, I have to say, Emmy, my youngest, is 5, and she still is very messy, my messy child. But I always, I stick to 3 pieces
Okay.
normally, in every category.
Okay.
And then we stop and we do laundry, if it gets dirty. But I really try, and especially especially pajamas, we're constantly 2, 3 nights in pajamas because
Mhm.
they take a bath and they get their pajamas on, they go to bed. There's no way that they're dirty the
Right.
next day. So it's a lot of, reusing for a couple nights. And then we do stop. We'll do laundry, and it's great because then, it exposes them to that going to a laundromat,
Mhm.
something that they would not experience, just living at home,
Yeah.
and really prepares them for the outside world a little, I love that experience, of having to put coins in,
Right.
and things like that. So yeah, it's can be challenging. Sure, it takes up time. But really, it's a gift to the kids, that they're
Yes.
getting this exposure to the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and look how fast the laundry gets done when you only have
Yeah.
3
Yes.
things of
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I think that comes into play is this fast fashion industry because, some things are just so inexpensive that it's just easier to buy 4 cheap shirts rather than one expensive one,
Yeah.
knowing that they're going to, stain it, outgrow, rip it, whatever.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this? What does that do to
Gosh, fast fashion, it's really taken a turn. I mean, I think people are really catching on. It's not great for the environment. Um, we even saw this with, Forever 21 going into bankruptcy. I think people are finally realizing, spend a little bit more, you're going to replace it a lot less, and you're going to get that quality that you're looking for. So yeah, with my romper, our material it's rayon spandex, so it's super long lasting. It's going to last that whole 9 months during pregnancy and beyond, wash after wash. So with disposable, you maybe get 1 or 2 washes out of it, and then it goes in the garbage. It goes to donation. And I really wanted to make sure with my romper that we really found a quality material that was going to last that whole time. And then even beyond too, during, spills and things with a new baby, it's easily washable, and you can actually dry it on low heat if you want to. I love to just let it hang, and it'll last even longer. My cousin has one of our original pieces. It's now 4.5 years old. And most of mine are about 2.5 years I can get out of them. So it just, lasts forever. And I feel like that's so important. Fashion can be such a dirty industry. And we're just trying to, create less of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said that it's not just expectant moms who are wearing this now, right? It's just moms who want to be comfortable and
a real change happened during the pandemic. More people are working from home. And during that time when we were spending more time at home, everybody was looking for loungewear. And so we actually survived the pandemic very well because we were in that space. And yes, people just love it for the comfort. It doesn't have a waistline. And it's got giant pockets to hold, all the essentials that us moms need to.
Pockets are the most important thing. You could just say this has pockets, and no one would care who it was made for. They'd buy it.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. Customers will walk up, and they touch the fabric first because the fabric's just so buttery soft, and then they go, "Oh my gosh, it has pockets. Just give it to me. Give it to me. That's all I want." And then we do have a cuffed ankle down. There's a lot of features that set us apart from the rompers that you find at retail. We have a tapered ankle down at the bottom of the leg. So that allows for you to adjust it up and down your leg wherever you want it. And also our sizing goes by height, which is super different than most rompers. If you've gone into a store and you try a romper on in a general size, it's either super big or a super long or super short. And so I decided, you know what, we've got to make this easier. We've got to make it so that it actually fits. So through a lot of testing, we figured out that we found height ranges that work for our sizing. So we go extra small to extra large. And that is based basically on height. So it makes it super easy. So how tall are you?
I'm 5'2". I'm 5'2".
You're 5'2", so you're an extra small in our size.
Well, I love that because my fitness app keeps telling me I'm obese, so I want to be extra small.
And the great part is it's super stretchy. And so, people love, when I tell them their size and they'll say, I've never been an extra small in my life, and they love it even more.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I love it when I meet other moms who, saw a need, fixed it, and everyone gets to benefit. There are so many great things, like you've mentioned, for you and your family that are coming out of this outside of an income stream. That I love this when this happens. So thank you. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah,
and as we wrap up, one thing I ask every guest, I'm a gadget girl. I love anything that'll save time. So what is your favorite time-saving gadget system or tool?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so many. I use so many to
Well, you could
really,
have more than one.
oh my gosh. Oh, for other business owners out there that travel from state to state like us, I use TaxJar for sales tax, which is
Oh,
just fabulous because they file your sales tax in every state. If you've ever gone to one of those websites and have had to try and file your sales tax, it is so time consuming.
yeah,
So
and
I have to
confusing.
say, oh, it's so confusing. And you
Yeah,
can spend hours waiting for customer service on the phone. I mean, it's just crazy. And so TaxJar is my number one. I mean,
nice.
I love it so much. But I use, so many different, and, looking at my tabs right now, I have, there's just so many that really make that juggling of, home life and business possible. I
Mhm.
sometimes feel like if I didn't have this, it just would be so difficult to do what
Yeah,
I do.
yes.
Working full time, business full time, mom full time. I mean, it would be super difficult without that, without
Yeah,
these apps and software that we have available to
I
us
know.
now.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. It is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Well, I know that you have, a coupon code for our audience. Do you wanna tell us about that and maybe how people can connect with you further?
Sure. Yeah, I would like to extend, 15% off to anyone that has listened to this episode, and that code is this mom knows, all capitals, 15.
Okay,
So this mom knows 15, and you get 15% off your purchase with us on momperromper.com.
fabulous, and we will make sure that that's in the show notes.
Yeah.
So how can they find you? So mompreneur.com. Do you have social media
Yeah.
channels?
All the social media channels. You can find us
Okay,
on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, just everywhere. YouTube.
and it's all
Um,
Momper Romper.
It's all Momper Romper.
Perfect.
It's super
Okay.
easy. That's where you can find us. And then we always post where we're going to be. We might show up in a city near you. So just follow us on one of those social media channels. Typically,
Yeah.
Instagram is where you'll find where we'll be next.
And I love at the bottom of your website how you've got that. I think it's how she wore it or who wore it
Yeah,
well or something.
yeah,
And you pull from other people. I think that's brilliant. I love that.
yeah. So many great outfit ideas when you jump on our social media. It makes it
Yeah.
really fun.
Fabulous. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. So much fun.